Will Levis's first season in the NFL was quite interesting to say the least, and I watched every single start that he had in his rookie year with the Tennessee Titans. And to say that the film was like a very, very mixed bag would honestly be an understatement. It was all over the goddamn place. And once again, when I say that, I still feel like I'm understating how up and down his season was starting for the Tennessee Titans. He showed moments of brilliance where he looked like he could be the franchise savior at quarterback for this Titans organization. But he had moments where he looked like he didn't belong on a football field. Looked like he shouldn't even be playing the quarterback position. And that's sort of what I'm going to talk about in this brief little video here. Can Will Levis prove them wrong? Can he prove the doubters and the haters alike of his game at quarterback wrong and put together a complete and great season and potentially lead the Titans to the playoffs in his second year as a starting quarterback in the National Football League? Now, when you look at the games he played in, and when you analyze and study and even break down the game tape and the stuff that he put on film, it's all over the place, as I stated earlier. The main problem was, honestly, him under pressure. He was not good under pressure whatsoever. And the offensive line just had plays where they didn't block. I'll be the first person to admit the offensive line was terrible. I don't like using an excuse for any quarterback because I feel like quarterbacks should be good under pressure. But when you're put under pressure on well over 50% of your dropbacks when you're passing, there's a fucking problem and it needed to be addressed. And they did address it. They got some pieces on the offensive line in the offseason. So they've sort of bolstered that up, and hopefully those guys can actually block for the quarterback, unlike some of the dudes that were starting for Tennessee in the previous year. But under pressure, he seemed to panic. He got a bit of happy feet in the pocket. It looks like he was, not going to his hot read quick enough and just not getting the football out of his hands, which was very concerning. When you're holding on to that ball and sometimes, taking too long to read the coverage and just taking unnecessary hits and sacks, because you can't get the football out of your hands, then that's going to lead to a lot of turnovers and a lot of negative and very bad plays. And you want to avoid that in the NFL because that's your one-way ticket to getting benched. If you keep having those negative plays and you keep, performing poorly and crumbling under pressure, then you won't keep a starting job in the NFL for long. That's something he has to work on. And something else he has to work on is this guy's trying to throw into too many tight windows. He's throwing even when he gets a decently clean pocket to sort of set up and wind up and throw the football from. He's making errant decision after errant decision. You can't fucking do that in the NFL, man. You can't try to test every single window. Sometimes you take what the secondary and what the defense is giving you. And sometimes he was trying to really force and press the issue, and he was trying to throw it into windows that simply he had no place, ever throwing into, and there was no reason to throw into these windows, but he wanted to try to, fit it in there and try to get a chunk play or completion down the field. And man, that's just not the way to do it when you're playing in the NFL. It's all about taking what the defense is giving you, and if you can't do that on a consistent level, if you can't sort of improve on this ability going into this season, then Tennessee is going to have a big time problem on their hands. And it's just really bad when you watch on the film. Those are honestly his two sort of main downsides. I want to talk about some of his upsides. This guy already has one of the best arms in the league, man. This guy can sling it sidearm from whatever arm angle, back foot, backpedaling. It doesn't matter, where he is on the field. He can wind it up quick and throw it quick. He's got a lightning fast release. This guy really can throw it all over the field, and that's really, really good because you can run any type of offense with a quarterback that has his frame and has his size, and his mobility for, his frame is also pretty decent, but has the God-given arm strength that Levis does. Any offense can be run. You can sort of go, spread it out a bit more, throw it a bit more, or you can just run, the classic pro style where you're mixing the run with the pass, and then you get the play fake, coming in, eventually when you make them respect the run and then go deep down the field. With Levis's live arm, he's going to be able to stretch the defense out as much as humanly possible. And another upside that I saw on the game film is his processing is not as bad as I really made it out to be. His processing still isn't the greatest. I think it's below average for an NFL quarterback, but it seems like the transition from the college ranks where he was staring down guys left, right, and fucking center, and getting a coach to sort of coach that out of him a bit, going into the NFL ranks has helped him because he's going through more progressions. He's sort of sometimes looking off the linebackers or safeties, which is very, very good stuff when you see that on film. But then we go, right back to the issues where sometimes when he's under pressure, he will just like backpedal and throw it up. Man, you can't do that. He just throws it up, and I feel like sometimes he throws prayers up. Like, he feels pressure, he backpedals, or he gets happy feet and throws it up. Like, he doesn't really know what he's looking at, but he knows the route, so he's throwing it where he thinks the route is going to be, but the route's probably not going to be there, and that ends up with the defense, getting their hands on the ball, potentially swatting it away, or it being an inaccurate pass, or maybe even intercepted. And he had a lot of plays and a lot of errant passes and throws that should have been intercepted. He should have had probably 7-8 interceptions, but a lot of them were dropped by the defensive backs and the linebackers, so he should be very thankful for that. That stat line would look much, much worse, and I think that honestly there would have been a discussion going into the 2024 draft whether they should pick a quarterback with their draft choice, which obviously they didn't. They didn't do that because they didn't want to do that because they believed in Levis and they wanted to build around Levis. And we'll see how this Will Levis experiment honestly turns out, because the film was once again so erratic and all over the place, and sometimes his accuracy and his decision making was erratic and all over the place. Although he's making progressions a bit better than he was in college, still not great, below average for an NFL quarterback at reading and processing a coverage and going through the progressions. He still has the problem of locking on to receivers, but it is not as exaggerated and as terrible as it was in college. So there's some sort of stride, some sort of improvement there. Hopefully he can improve on it and actually become a good processor of information, because if he doesn't step it up in this season, I think the Titans are going to be one and done, one full season with Levis, and then they'll draft a quarterback. Maybe they'll tank for Carson Beckett, and once they realize, if somehow, the season sort of goes awry and they're not doing as good as they think, they might put Rudolph in. They might keep Levis in because he might be the tank commander at that point, and he probably gives them the best chance of getting another quarterback. But I don't even know what to expect. I'm not even going to make a prediction on how Will Levis' season for the Titans is going to pan out, because I honestly don't know, because it's literally a 50-50. He's either going to take huge steps and be the franchise quarterback for the Titans, or he's going to be absolutely dreadful and he's going to be benched by like the 8th week or something. There's no in between, because with this guy, he's all over the place. He shows greatness and then shows trashness in the same fucking series of plays. And it's funny to watch, but it's bad to watch, because you have the plays that are so comically bad that they leave you scratching your head. But then a play later, he does some weird sidearm throw into a window and he completes it. So you're like, wow, this guy has potential to be special in this league. But then the play before, you're like, wow, this guy's garbage. How is he's still starting quarterback in the NFL? It's going to be an interesting and fun ride with Will Levis, and we'll see how the experiment goes. Thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth.